my name's Donson and I represent Pye Auctions. My role is network engineer and software manager of this company. We have just under 1,000 employees and we're based all over the UK, recently expanded into Europe, and our IT infrastructure has grown rapidly recently. Our company is a auction platform. It's solely online. It used to be, back in about 10 years ago, it used to be a live platform where you'd come and bid, you view and buy. But recently we've gone fully online, fully automated, and now we supply thousands and thousands of consumers with top quality goods at very low prices, where they decide what the price is going to be. Major impact towards the IT infrastructure was that we didn't have any idea of what equipment we had, how we were managing them, how we were looking after them, how we had any idea if those devices were up to date, whether those devices were used for personal use. We just had no idea, and it's probably well over 600 phones and well over 1,000 desktop PCs/servers. So before using that, we didn't have any idea of what to do with it. Unfortunately, we weren't using any products. We didn't consider the rapid growth of the company at the time until very recently, where it was like, we actually need to do something about it. Prior to having no MDM server or cloud-based system, we didn't have any idea of what was going off with our network infrastructure, our IT infrastructure, our devices. So the only way we could manage it was just through an email address, essentially. And I came back into this business to basically get them into the 21st century and give them an idea of what an IT department should look like. I discovered ManageEngine through a website that I just can't remember what the website's called now, but it was like, I just typed in Google top 10 MDMs and I downloaded all of them. And I worked through a few of them over a period of a month, and ManageEngine's one was the most suitable for us, as it gave us the best value and the most options for the licensing. A lot of the others were like, oh, if you want that feature, it's an extra $3 per device, and it worked out quite expensive considering what you're getting for what ManageEngine provides. We started using this at the end of August, so it's very new to us, but as a network manager, I am loving the product. It suits us as a company down to the ground. Simplicity. It was actually relatively easy for me to set up the profiles for each configuration, and it was relatively easy to set up the kiosk mode and everything that I needed to be able to allow each user on that phone to only use what I want them to use. So the first thing I would say was definitely the simplicity of the configuration setup. ManageEngine Endpoint 11 cloud-based service that we're using, and we're using the Enterprise Edition, so we've got the full works, everything that's included. So as you can imagine anyway, as I've discussed, it actually looked like a right mess. You know, there was nothing to identify what products we have. You know, there was no structure, and in regards to using it now, we're just starting to distribute the agent for all the PCs, so we can start doing patch management. We recently spent a considerable amount of money having pen testers come into our company and check for vulnerabilities on our network, check for vulnerabilities on our systems. And one of our biggest issues was the fact that 80% of our computers are out of date, you know, with patches, because users, I can probably speak for everyone, users don't like updates. If they see an update penned in there, they'll just go, I'll turn the computer off, and they won't do it. Whereas your service endpoint allows me as an administrator to override that and go, yeah, you're doing it now, which as a company, it protects the integrity of our network and it protects the integrity of our servers, which as a data company, is quite a high priority for us. Our operational efficiency now, since we've installed this agent and the DS, the distribution server, has allowed us as a IT department to focus on other items, other things that we need to move on to while those things are being looked after. I think my colleague mentioned that one of the best things he likes the most is the fact that you can have the patch management do it out of hours. So even if the computer's asleep, as long as it's on the LAN, it can tell it to wake up and tell it to do the patch management, so that when the user comes in the morning, there isn't software updates they have to wait 45 minutes for, because no Windows update is ever 5 minutes, is it? So the other feature I love about the patch management and the endpoint system is that I can ask the system to update the computer without the users being interrupted from their daily tasks. The other big thing I like the most is I can actually remote control their computer without them knowing. Well, you have to ask permission, but you can use it without, they can carry on doing word processing or whatever they want to do, and I can do all the background tasks. Let's say the printers stop working, I can reset the spooler service without even interrupting their workforce. Before, we would have to use TeamViewer, log into the computer, interrupt their work, and then mess around while they're sat there waiting for me to carry on doing what I'm doing. So that's another great feature that has saved, I would say, our IT department a hell of a lot of time. So the remote access helps us as a business remote into the computers in privacy mode, or in front-end mode, as I call it, where you're actually on the PC and the user's watching what you're doing. The other thing I like is the blacken the screen. So if you have sensitive documents that you need, or you've got a file you want to put on there, you don't need the user to look at, you can do that. It blackens their screen while you're completely in control of the computer. You can turn their keyboard off, turn their mouse off. Most of the time users are doing this with mouse, and you're like, stop doing that, you know. So there's a lot of great features on the remote access. You even got file transfer as well, where you can just drop a file a click of the fingers. Which is also very beneficial to us. So if we need to add a FileMaker document, which we don't allow the users to actually have access to, normally we go up with a USB stick, go to site, plug it in the user's computer. I don't have to do that anymore. I can sit on my desk. I can get my service manager to do that, and it saves us a hell of a lot of time. Obviously, each site is about 30-40 minutes away, so it's a good 2 hours out of your day wasted. So in general, we're a lot more productive. The MDM agent, what I did is for about 2 weeks, I was constantly testing it before I rolled it out. I had like 40 phones, and I was just playing around with it and testing all the great features that have on it. One of the best features I like is kiosk mode. It's where it locks down the phone completely and only allows the apps that you say you want to have on it. So the user can't even go on the web, can't even go on the App Store. There's nothing they can do. They can't even go on a calculator. You know, there's nothing that's they're not going to use on there. So in regards to enrollment, after getting the profile set up and the user configuration set up, enrollment is simple, because as soon as you add the device through Apple Configurator, and you've set up the Apple Configurator for the enrollment system, as soon as the phone is on the Wi-Fi for that enrollment, it automatically downloads everything. And the administrators who are building these profiles don't have to do anything. They literally just leave the device to update 10 to 15 minutes. Once it's done that, you can then turn the phone off and send it to site. So in regards to before we had the MDM server, we were manually setting these up through Apple Configurator, and there's a lot, you know, deleting apps one by one, and then setting the iCloud up, and then setting the profiles up on kiosk mode on the Apple Configurator. So there was a lot of laborious stuff to do. Whereas now, with thanks to ManageEngine, there is none of that, and it is simple. Now I've done all the hard work, which was setting all the profiles up. It is literally just going, that phone used to go in that box. So if you want to know how long it takes me to set up a phone from scratch, it's 5 minutes. It is literally plug into Apple Configurator, press enter a few times, it wipes the phone, and then boom, you know, the enrollment has already started. All you got to do is go onto the cloud-based server, click enrollment, tap that phone, just put it in whatever group you want to put it in, and it's done. In regards to setting up the entire profile, I would say it take me about half an hour to make a fresh profile from start, because you go through every single option. There's so many options you can go through. You could add Office 365 on there, you can have Azure. These are the things we don't use, but you can. So the flexibility with the MDM on the endpoint is outstanding. One of our devices that wasn't on the MDM, and it wasn't an iPhone, it was an Android, downloaded some malware, and I was able to tackle that without the risk of any other devices being infected. So yes, I was able to, the security endpoint on the actual MDM system is really good. The other thing I love about the endpoint is I can also geo-track the devices right down to the pinpoint of location. So if a user takes a phone off site, it automatically tells me that that phone's gone off site because it disconnects from the Wi-Fi. So then I get a notification saying that device is disconnected from the Wi-Fi. And I can remote wipe it, I can remote lock it, just like you can on a normal iPhone, but it's from the endpoint system instead of logging into an iCloud account and doing it unprofessionally. I think that's very unprofessional, and we have now a professional system in place to allow us to manage those users. And with the help of the endpoint, we will be able to prove that we have the ability to ensure our devices are locked down, our devices are up to date, our devices are security compliant. As I've mentioned before, we use something called FileMaker. And with the use of the MDM, we're able to secure host our files on a separate server, which is segregated away from Pye Auctions essentially. And we wasn't able to do that before. So with the help of the endpoint, we're able to make our systems a lot more secure. In all honesty, I haven't actually found any issues with ManageEngine. The support team is absolutely fantastic. They have been very proactive in helping us get our feet off the ground with your products. And with regards to in the future, it seems that this is the other reason why I went for you guys. You're very proactive with adding value to your products. So you're especially the endpoint, you've always got a button to say, do you want to suggest something new? So as a user myself, I feel like I have the freedom to ask for extra features without being penalised on cost. So I haven't got any, at the moment, any negative feedback for you. I'll be honest with you, our industry is quite unique. There's not many auction houses that are as big as us. There is another competitor that is quite as big as us, but I do know that their IT infrastructure is from the 1970s. So I want to be that person for this company to bring in a lot more IT infrastructure that you guys have. I've already had a look through the range of products. You've got Network Analyzer. I'd love to get my hands on that and build it into our network. You know, it supports WAN, that's what we do. So, you know, there's loads of features that I want to improve on. But in our industry, I would definitely say there isn't a company that has the IT infrastructure that we have, the amount of phones we have, the amount of tablets we have, computers we have, that do the same business as we do.